Greetings, Commanders, Cerebrits, and Executors. Today we're talking about terrain. And the main discussion in regard to terrain is high ground and low ground. These dragoons here are on low ground. There's a cliff here with some high ground on top of it. Ground units on low ground cannot see high ground. They do not have vision of high ground. This area is well within the dragoon's normal vision range, but I can't see anything on top of it. There are only a couple of ways for a ground unit to get vision of high ground. First, you can get a flying unit. Flying units always have vision of high ground and low ground. And you can use that vision for your low ground units to see the high ground also. You can also do this with things like the Terran Scanner Sweep, if you don't have high ground units. And if you happen to be near some high ground and an enemy unit that is on top of the high ground attacks you, you get vision of the high ground briefly. But however you get the vision of the high ground, even if you have a unit with a ranged attack that could shoot at enemies who are on the high ground, your attacks, the attacks of a low ground ranged unit attacking something that is on high ground, have a very high chance of missing their target and doing no damage. This is most easily demonstrated with the Dragoon's attack. The chance of missing is about 50%. It's not exactly, it's 47 point something. It's a really nasty, disgusting decimal number. But it's a very high miss chance. So watch the Dragoon. That shot missed, that shot missed, that shot missed, and then the Dragoon died. Let's see if we can get a hit somewhere. And that shot missed. Let's try it again with another one. That was a miss. That was a hit. That was a miss. And you can see, because you only get a small piece of vision when something on high ground attacks you, if you don't have your own units giving you vision of the high ground, it becomes a lot harder to maintain consistent attacking. This means that high ground is a very strong defensive position, both because of the lack of vision if the attacker on low ground doesn't have an air unit, and because of the miss chance, which makes it much less likely for the low ground player to come out on top. High ground, therefore, is a very strong... I already said that. It's a very strong defensive position. Ramps are how you move from high ground to low ground if you're a ground unit. There's a ramp right here. Ramps tend to be very strong defensive positions because they are narrow, and because of the aforementioned mischance. Yeah, my Hydralisks are going to lose this fight, in large part thanks to the mischance. As my Hydras were shooting at enemy Hydralisks, a lot of their shots didn't connect and didn't do damage. There is also a high mischance if you can put one of your units under a doodad. So, here, for instance. This Dragoon should get a mischance if anything tries to attack it. But it's very rare that doodads, which are these decorative objects on the map, it's pretty rare for doodads to be in positions where you can use them to get that mischance effectively. So it doesn't tend to come up much. I'm going to do another demonstration of how strong of a defensive position a ramp can be with these Hydralisks. I'm just going to position them at the top of this ramp so they can attack enemies as the enemies try to come up. And there are more enemy Hydralisks here than there are of my Hydralisks. But thanks to the mischance, I think, actually, am I going to win this fight? Maybe not. No, okay. In the end, I did win. The mischance from high ground did make enough of a difference. There was a point there where it was clear the enemy had more units left than I did. But thanks to the mischance, the enemy didn't do as much damage as I was doing, because my Hydralisks were always getting all their damage off, the enemy Hydralisks were only getting roughly half their damage off. And so I was able to take the win. So, keep an eye on low ground, high ground, and ramps. They matter a lot. They make a big difference to where the best defensive positions are on a map, and what would be a good plan for both where you can defend and think carefully about where the enemy is defending and whether it's worth trying to attack into that.